It's changed how Harborview runs.
Nurses and doctors at Seattle's Harborview Medical Center suit up. To go to battle with coronavirus, they have to go through an exhaustive dressing regimen, hoods and tubes and masks and gowns, just to enter a patient's room.
We think the greatest risk actually for healthcare workers is when they remove things that they contaminate themselves.
They have a checklist and a spotter helping with every step. They also have to adapt to new realities and shortages.
So these are what are called PAPR hoods. So these are the hoods that hook up to these machines that filter air.
And that's the hose that hooks up to the back of the hood.
They do get cleaned inside and out so they can be reused. Because the way they were built was for one-time use, but that's not the way. If we did that, we would already be out of it.
Wow. They have completely revamped 2 intensive care units.
So this whole unit was meant to be for people with brain injuries and strokes and so forth. And so now we have to move all of them someplace else because we have to continue that care.
So all the people with brain injuries were moved, and this was turned into a COVID-19 ICU unit.
Correct.
All to try and help coronavirus patients live, isolate them from others, and keep the staff safe too.
So I am not wearing the full personal protection equipment because in these rooms where the actual COVID-19 patients are, these are considered negative pressure rooms. That means that we are considered in a safe space, not wearing full personal protection. Patients are being cared for, but we don't need to wear the full apparatus unless you are a doctor or nurse who has to go into the room to care for the patient.
Inside the rooms, patients are hooked up to a shocking number of tubes, using those precious ventilators, the only thing keeping them breathing.
So for the ICU patients, they tend to they get very sick and they stay sick very long. So needing to require the ventilator for weeks at a time. And that's really the big issue.
Across just their 4 hospitals, 60 coronavirus patients were hospitalized last week. Already this week, it's at least 100. For each one, a delicate dance to keep staff healthy and patients alive.
It is just coming in here and seeing the work that's being done and seeing the patients being cared for. It's stressful. I'm scared for their families as well. And so as you walk through and you see the hard work being done and people doing everything they need to take care of patients, it's awe-inspiring, considering the fact that they too could be putting themselves in harm's way.
Outside the hospital, a large tent has been erected to assess and test potential coronavirus patients. And this is happening before the anticipated surge here.
I feel dread and I feel fear, and I'm not working on the front lines. What are you feeling as you're dealing with all these COVID-19 patients?
It's certainly a sense of anxiety because we, right now, we're kind of wondering what it's going to be like when that peak comes and when people are, flooding in.
While the number of new infections in Washington seems to be slowing down, there's a growing sense they haven't seen the worst of it yet.
What they do every day is heroic. Going and taking care of patients without protection is not acceptable.